Hey there, Rip City. Welcome into the fifth quarter. I'm your host today, Chris Burkhardt, filling in for Chad Doing. You just heard him bringing you the latest there on the Blazers pre and post game show. And now it's my turn to break down what went down today in Los Angeles. The Blazers falling to the Lakers 116 to 110. And what a game it was, right? It was an interesting one, that's for sure. I thought the Blazers played quite well, fought hard. But in the end, it just wasn't meant to be as the Blazers again fall 116 to 110. And there's plenty to talk about after this one, both good and bad. If you want to talk about it, you know what to do. Hit us up 503-248-0620. The man, the myth, the legend, Michael Shacker will pick you up on the other line and we'll get you on the show to talk this one. And of course, you can jump in on the YouTube stream as well, where we are live at Rip City Radio on YouTube. Go there and get your comments in on the chat, and you can join the show that way too. If you're afraid to get on the phone or you don't have a phone, maybe you just don't, you just don't want to do it. Pop up the YouTube stream, get in there as well. Again, Blazers fall 116 to 110 in Los Angeles, and this game had a little bit of everything. It had the Blazers kind of struggling at first. Then it had the Blazers kind of getting down big. Then it had the Blazers clawing back, just like we said in the pregame show, that this team was going to give it their all the time because that's just what they do. And they did it again tonight. Now, they did lose, but you got to remember, they're at the end of the third quarter with about 30 seconds left. It was 91 to 77. Momentum kind of in the realm of the Los Angeles Lakers. And then the Blazers, they put it on to start the fourth quarter, went on a quick run. And before you knew it, it was a 1-point ball game. And so they were fighting. Absolutely, they were fighting. And you got to think that this team tonight, friends, this team tonight, absolutely crazy because we went through this during the pregame show, right? Ant out, Brogdon out, Scoot still out, right? Robert Williams, he's not playing. The list, it goes on. The Blazers, they sign a guy that we're sitting here in the pregame show like, how do you pronounce his name? What? Jeremy Booyah. Sure. Where did this guy come from? Is he going to play? There's no way he's going to play. No, he did. He got in there, played some pretty pivotal minutes for the Blazers as their depth at guard is pretty low right now. He actually played 12 minutes, had 6 points. Skylar Mays got the start. Like it's incredible that this team that rolled out today, they rolled out. Skylar Mays was out there. Duop Reith makes his debut. Now, this is just a few days after having a great game in the G League, but still, and more on him later because, Blazers might be onto something with him. And then Jeremy, I still can't remember. Booyah. And these guys scrapped and clawed, and up until the final minutes, were in it with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, granted, the Los Angeles Lakers didn't have LeBron James tonight. The Lakers still did their thing. They were able to get in there. They were smart because they know that the Blazers don't have all the dogs that they need yet, right? And so they attacked the paint. The difference in this game, absolutely, without question, was the disparity at the free throw line. Now, Chad already said it in that postgame show. You heard Travis say it too. This one is not on the refs. This one is just on game plan. Okay? Let's look at these numbers for a sec because if you weren't paying attention, they will blow your mind. Okay? And that is the fact that the Blazers took just 9 free throws during this game. They were 7 of 9 on those 3 free throws, but took just 9 of them. Whereas the Los Angeles Lakers took 37. 37. Anthony Davis, 10 of 12 from the line. He had more free throw attempts and makes than the Blazers as a team. Now, People get mad at that at first. And the Blazers have always kind of ran this, right? They ran it with Dame too. There would be these free throw discrepancies. Why? Well, question you, how often do you see guys get fouled on 3-point attempts? I mean, it happens, but not a lot. How often do you see guys get fouled when they're attacking the rim? Quite often, right? It happens much more often than a guy taking up the deep 3-point shot. And this game alone, the Blazers, that discrepancy right there, the Lakers just 19 3-point attempts because they were trying to get into the hole and take, jump shots within that 10 to 15 foot range as well. The Blazers 37 3-point attempts. So if you're not driving to the hole as often, you're not going to get those calls because they're just not there. You got to be aggressive. LA was a little bit more aggressive in that aspect, and that definitely led to the discrepancy at the free throw line. Now, interestingly enough, like things that we said needed to happen in the pregame show, right? And this was that the Blazers need to work on the boards. They couldn't get out rebounded handily, and they weren't. Yes, the Lakers won the rebound battle, but they won it by 3. The Blazers had 33 defensive rebounds to the 34 of the Lakers, and the offensive board numbers were 5 and 7 respectively. Okay, so they were working on the glass. They were doing their thing. Field goal percentage, they shot the ball well, 50% on the night, 29 assists compared to the Lakers' 27. A lot of things they did well. That free throw number was absolutely a big time difference maker without question. But again, it's all about being aggressive in this one. This is another one that no matter what any naysayer will say, that you can't be super upset about. What you can be upset about is what Chauncey Billups said postgame, and we'll get to it later in the night, and that is the fact that you felt like you let one get away. You feel like you let one get away. Granted, they didn't have LeBron James, but that wasn't the reason you let this get away. He said that, anytime you're in a game late and you have a chance to upset any team on the road in their house, doesn't matter if they're the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, you have a chance to leave with the dub, and you do a few little things that you think you kind of let it slip away, then you let one get away. So you didn't let this one get away because, you missed a chance to win one with LeBron James not on the floor. No, you missed a chance just to win one because you were playing well enough to win that for chunks of that game, especially there late. And then it all unraveled, as many pointed out to that play. And this is where that young team needs to learn what you do. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Hustle plays win, right? And that's that play where the ball gets knocked out during a little random transfer there. And Taurean Prince sprints out and gets it in the open field while 2 Blazers just stand and stare at it, perhaps thinking that the ball was going to go out of bounds and they were just going to get to inbound it and reset and start over. But that wasn't the case. Heads up play by the Lakers to get in there, get the ball, and then get the bucket. And that was one of those things that they call a momentum shifter there late in the game. Overall, again, tough loss. If you're a Blazer fan, anytime you go down to LA and take the L, it's not a good day because you just don't like losing to the Lakers. But again, there's also plenty to be excited about after this one. Maybe excited is too big of a term to use, but there is a silver lining here, and that's silver lining. And we'll talk about it all night, and you guys can get in here as well, 503-248-0620, or get in on the YouTube chat where everyone's starting to sound off already. I'll get to those in a moment. But the plus side on this one, the silver lining, if you will, the emergence of Two-Up Reith. Reith looked great in the Rib City Remix's inaugural game, throwing up 30 plus, hitting a couple threes. I think he was 5 of 8 in that game. Well, guess what? I think the Blazers just may have stumbled onto a pretty good stretch big for him. Because tonight, in 14 minutes, in his big league debut, 11 points, 3 of 8 shooting from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Led the team at a plus 11. Now, plus minus, the plus minus means something, also can be overrated. But that's a pretty good number, is it not? To see that this guy went out there, played pretty darn good, and has given the Blazers a pretty good rotation big to work with. I absolutely like that. I like it a lot. What do you think? Jump in on the comments, 503-248-0620. Get in on the phone call as well. We're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we return, we'll get to your calls. So if you are waiting on hold, don't worry. I'll get to you just on the other side. We'll also hear from Coach Billups before we get out of here. We still got What's the Scoot? Scoreboard, plenty of things here coming up. We're just getting started here on the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Reith just inside the arc, dribbles right, looks for a cutting Sharp, and he dunks it in. Great read by Reith, and Sharp gets the two-hand slam, 1-point game. Lee Christie bringing it up, looks for Jackson Hayes in the game for the first time, the former Pelican. Now to Reeves, cut off by Sharp. Gives it up to Wood on the far side, backs up, launches a high arcing three. It just skims the rim, no good. Rebound by Reith. Here comes Bouye back the other way. Bouye across the timeline, gives it up to Reith. He's open, launches a three. Buries it. First career points for Dwop Reith. Blazers lead 33-31. It's the second made three of the night for the Blazers.
And there's our shard of the night from the man of the night, really, I think, Dwop Reith. What a great little performance he had this evening. All right, it is time to head out to the phones, though. And if you are waiting there, I'm going to get to you. Tim, that's you. I'm going to get to you in just a sec. 503-248-0620 to join the line. But I got to go out to this man first because it's my partner in crime, the man Chad Doing. How you doing, Chad?
Yeah, what's going on, buddy? I'll tell you what, based on my ear, I would say you do a better job hosting fifth quarter than I do.
I don't know about that. What'd you think of that? That was a pretty good Brian No, though, wasn't it? That's my doing. I'm working on that one.
No, it works, man. You got the Brian No down perfectly, but entertaining basketball game tonight. And I guess what I like most is what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is just a lot of fight, scratch, and claw from this group. Even in the third quarter, you know, when the Lakers started to pull away and built an 11-point lead, you thought the game was starting to slip away, and then all of a sudden the Blazers come out on a 12-2 run and get right back into the game. So just more of the same, guys fighting and a number of different guys stepping up to make plays, and it makes for an entertaining brand of basketball and, you know, fun to see some of the youngsters get a chance to play like Reith, man. I love it.
Yeah, speaking of Reith, I mean, what was your takeaway watching him tonight? I mean, he comes in, granted, he did have a pretty darn good performance in that Rip City Remix inaugural game against the South Bay Lakers, but comes in the night, 11 points, hits a couple three-point shots. Someone in our comments on YouTube is going, oh, we got like Zach Randolph light right now here with that feathery touch. What are your takeaways from Reith's game?
Well, I like the fact that he was aggressive, and, you know, it must have been something that the coaches communicated with him, like, hey, don't be afraid to get to your spots and fire away, and he did that and played with confidence. I just like how the league's got it set up now with the G League, where you can send guys down and bring them up, you know, when you get into a pinch and need opportunities like this. So I think it's great to see the Blazers using the G League and, you know, the Rip City Remix paying off immediate dividends, and they were just down there and, you know, playing the South Bay Lakers, getting a couple of games in. So I liked it, but I just like the aggressiveness and the willingness to attack and not being timid out there on a team that's got a lot of youngsters and needs people to step up and make plays.
Yeah, speaking, though, Chad, about the willingness to attack, well, it's nice to see that these young guys aren't playing timid, like you said, right? They're willing to take their shots. They're just going out there doing their fun, but maybe not attacking in the true sense of, you know, getting to the rim, playing dirty in the paint, because that was the difference in this ball game tonight. Was one team was trying to live outside the three-point arc, taking nearly 40 three-point shots, while the other team saw the advantage and went into the paint, and it led to a major free throw discrepancy.
Yeah, that was the big difference. You know, Anthony Davis getting to his spots. I thought the Laker guards really attacked, a lot of straight line drives. They just were aggressive from the get-go at trying to get into the painted area, and that paid off because the Lakers had a massive advantage, plus 23 at the foul line, and that's how they won it, by being aggressive, attacking in the paint, and doing a good job of getting Davis the ball in spots where he could score, and the Blazers just didn't have an answer. And I think the last thing this Blazers squad wants to do is set three-point shots. It's not going to get the job done for him tonight, and Anthony Davis was awesome with his double-double. Getting to the free throw line, attacking the paint. The Blazers had no answer, unfortunately.
Yeah, now I want to talk one quick thing here with you, and that's the fact that the Blazers, they rightfully, he deserved it. They moved Mays on from the two-way contract, gave him the full-scale deal, and then they filled that back spot with a guy that I think maybe you and I inadvertently have a reason for signing him, because I pulled in that Yokozuna drop, right? Jeremy, booyah! Booyah! What'd you think of him tonight, coming out there? No practices or anything, and just going, hey, I'm going to go dip my shots too.
I love it, man. Most importantly, I love his last name. If your last name is Booyah, then I know that myself and Burkhardt are going to love you. But I thought that was great. And Skylar Mays, look, I know one thing for certain now. He belongs in the NBA. He's got a certain maturity to his game, and he's aggressive, and I think he plays it the way that Chauncey Billups wants. And, back-to-back games now against Sac on Wednesday and tonight with double-doubles in points and assists. So I really like Skylar Mays, his demeanor, the way in which he works, and he deserves everything he's gotten, man. Big props to him for getting that two-way deal converted to a full contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before I let you go, I just got to know if there's any truth to this, and I think the answer is yes. But Shacker said, "Hey, Chad's on the line. He's sounding pretty happy, and I think that's because he's going to be home before the fifth quarter's done tonight." Is that true?
No, that's the funniest part. It's like it's so weird to get in the car and hear your voice during the fifth quarter because I'm programmed on Blazer nights to be in that mode. And so when I was done with the Trailblazer post-game show and I looked at the clock, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I guess part of me called in because I wanted to talk to you, and it was a fun game to watch tonight. But the other part of me felt guilty because I should still be working right now. So I don't know what's going on. But I will get home before midnight, which is beautiful.
Yeah, a true friend would have just hit I-5 South and just showed up in person to come say hi.
But dude, hey, I'll tell you this much, man. Yeah, because you and I have to grind through all the games throughout the season. That's the way we do it. But if this young squad that's in a rebuild right now is going to play hard like this and give us reasons to watch and be entertaining, I mean, because, dude, going into the game against Sac and the game tonight with the players that they had and the youth they're playing, you wouldn't think the games would be competitive, but this team is right there with a chance to win, and I'm impressed. I like that type of work from the youngsters out there. It's fun to watch and it's entertaining. So I'll take that all day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I will let you get on the road and get home and go get some rest. You're going to need it. You got plenty of football to talk tomorrow, 3 to 6 on the Rip City Drive. And I will see you, my friend, game day on Tuesday, another Blazer game. Hopefully it's another fun one.
We got a busy week this week, man. A ton of games. All right. Hey, props to your 49ers. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. That's right. Brock Purdy. He did some pretty good things for my 49ers today. He bounced back a little bit. The whole team bounced back. All right, we're going to head out to Milwaukee. Where Tim in Milwaukee. First off, Tim, thank you so much for patiently waiting there. Had to get through Chad real quick. But welcome into the fifth quarter. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. Thanks. I was actually slaving over a hot stove for a late night meal tonight. It's Italian night in my household, and you know what that means. Diarrhea. Anyway, I wanted to call in about Skylar Mays. You guys talking about it may have just answered partially some of my question. I didn't know that they had just signed him for a proper contract for the rest of the year. I was going to see if his consistency kept up, if he was going to garner any interest in terms of any substantial comeback in terms of a trade. But my next question, I guess, would be, given his age, what do you see his long-term trajectory being on this team? If he continues to develop, he seems like a great floor general. He's doing a lot of intelligent basketball, facilitating with what little he's working with tonight. And I think that guy would do great on a team like, I don't know, a Miami or maybe someplace like a New York, or someplace where they have maybe a little shallower of a window where they need somebody that's coming into their own and hitting their peak like him with good coaching. So I don't know. I was just kind of wondering what his long-term prognosis is with the Blazers, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think if you can hold on to him, you do it, because I think for the longest time, Tim, even with Dame and all that, the biggest question mark on this team outside of the obvious, right? We need a forward, we need this, is just true depth behind Damian Lillard or the starting guard, right? I think that's why the team has relied on this whole let's stagger the lineup, let's put CJ at the point guard, let's put Ant at the point guard, because they never had a true guy outside of like little spurts with like, and actually Skylar kind of reminds me of this man right here, but like Shabazz Napier. Right. But there was far more like Tim Quartermans of the world than there were Shabazz Napiers for the Blazers. So if they can hold on to this guy for cheap, then yeah, I'd absolutely want to keep him, because it just gives you that depth play. Is he a guy that you're going to want to rely on for 20 minutes a night every single night? No. But when you get into a weird situation like the Blazers are right now, it's very, very helpful to have him there at the end of your bench. You can plug him in and he can be your starter and play quite well for you. Now, to your point of Miami and teams like that, I absolutely think you're right. I just don't know where the deal comes in, because being converted from a two-way deal, he's going to be cheap, right? And so how do you make deals like that work? And maybe that plays into, maybe later in the season. But I don't know if the Blazers are in any rush to move off of this particular guy, just because not only is he playing well, he's saving them a ton of money.
Do you think that there's enough mentorship with veterans on this squad right now, or do you think that that's something we need to focus on possibly at the trade deadline or maybe early next season for Scoot?
Yeah, this is where, Tim, this question right here, I think, is actually a really, really good one because instantly when the trade happened with Drew Holiday, right? And this was my gut reaction. It was a lot of people's, was Malcolm Brogdon, right? And it was that guy's going to be flipped really, really quickly, right? However, in his short time here, all he's been said about him has been praised about his leadership and the way he mentors everyone. Casey Holdall has a great piece on him, and he was a guest on, I think, the latest episode of his podcast as well, about just talking about being a leader and how he understands how to talk to these guys and lead them. So they got a guy right there. And now if you can get another guy in, I know you have Jeremy Grant and all that, but if you can get another guy who wants to be willing to play that mentor role, but make it a guy who's a big, right, who can come in here and really help the Tamanis and even the Aytons, because remember, he's still a baby in basketball terms, right? Duhop Reith. If you can get that, I think that'd be huge for the development of the team and the young guys long term. I don't know if that's a trade deadline thing though. Then maybe that's a free agency type thing. But with the work that Malcolm's doing already with the guards on this team, I think having another vet somewhere along the line would be hugely beneficial.
All right, great. Well, that's all I got. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, as always. If you want to call and chat with me, you know what to do, 503-248-0620, or jump on the YouTube chat. You can jump in there. I'll answer your questions in there all the time as well. I got my boy Nick Thompson out there starting fires like he always does, but it keeps the chat rolling, and we're having fun. And if you want to join in, do it as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. One more time, that number, 503-248-0620, if you want to get in on the chat. Once again, Blazers fall to the Lakers, 116-110. Chris Burkhardt, plenty of more fifth quarter coming up right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Scoreboard Report, powered by Columbia Heating and Cooling, raising your expectations of comfort.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter, and it is time to take a look around the league with the scoreboard report. First off, Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks grabbed the 129-107 victory over the Hornets. Quickly led the way with 17 points and 9 assists. LaMelo Ball, 32 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists for the Hornets. The Brooklyn Nets grabbed the 102-94 victory over the Wizards. Mikal Bridges, 27 points, 13 rebounds to lead the way. The Grizzlies. Oh, boy, look at them. They're all of a sudden hot after taking down the Blazers 105-101. Desmond Bane led the way. They 105-101, they took down the Clippers, excuse me. Desmond Bane, 27.6 assists. Paul George, 26, 7, and 7. The 76ers grabbed the 137-126 win over the Pacers thanks to Tyrese Maxey's 50-point blow-up, man. What a game for him. And after the game said that was in honor of injured teammate Kelly Oubre, who, if you guys didn't hear, was hit by a car outside his house. Has some broken ribs and other injuries, but hopes to be okay here in the long term. In Chicago, the Pistons lost 119-108. Nikola Vucevic, 21 points, 12 rebounds. Hey, Detroit was led by Blazer legend and Rip City Remix legend Kevin Knox with 18 points. The Rockets suddenly looking good with new head coach Ime Udoka, now sit at 6-3 after beating the Nuggets 107-104. Nikola Jokic, 37, 21, and 11. Wasn't enough to get the job done, though. The Dallas Mavericks grabbed the 136-124 win over the Pelicans. Kyrie Irving, 35, 6, and 7. Jonas Valanciunas, a 15.10 rebound double-double in the loss. Miami grabs the 118-113 victory over the Spurs. Bam Adebayo leading the way there with 24, 11, and 6. Keldon Johnson's for the Spurs, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. The Thunder grab a 111-99 victory over the Suns. SGA with 35 points, 7 rebounds. Kevin Durant, 28 points and 9 boards. And the Timberwolves, 116-110 victors over the Warriors, which included the highlight of Draymond Green kind of fouling him hard, and then Anthony Edwards getting upset about it. And Draymond saying, "What are you going to do about it?" Oh, all he did was have 33 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and a victory for the Timberwolves. And then, of course, final game of the night was the Lakers 116-110 over your Trailblazers. All right, if you want to join in on the chat, you can do it over at YouTube, or you can call in 503-248-0620. And the chat is going on right now. Everyone is chiming in with their thoughts on just about everything. Nick is like Trader Bob over here. He just wants to trade everybody, and he wants to trade them for everybody. That was his shtick last year too, and he jumped in the chat. Is always trades that he would do or could do. It's a random assortment of everything here, but you know, you could take it all in. Let's see. Portland should Han says Portland should have nabbed Udoka when they had the chance. Man, here's the thing. Coaching obviously matters to a point, right? I mean, these guys go out there and they play, but a good coach can make a good team great. And by all accounts right now, the Houston Rockets are looking completely different than they did last year. They're still young. You got to remember the turmoil they got. It's just like, dude, this team is going nowhere slow. And then they go get Ime Udoka, who has a little bit of a cloud following him as well after the falling out there in Boston. But nobody questioned his ability to coach ever. And yeah, he has the Rockets suddenly playing a respectable brand of basketball, and they just knocked off the Nuggets, which no one is doing this year. That's a pretty good performance right there. So Han's spot on with that assertion. On the Chauncey front, though, man, I like what he's doing with these young guys right now. I don't know how it's all going to work out long term, but what he's doing with the young guys right now, I like. They're playing hard. They're showing progress. They're doing the little things. They're playing on the defensive side of the ball, which is great. We'll see how it all ends up in the long run. Speaking of coach, let's hear what he had to say following the 116-110 loss to the Lakers.
That's just tough. It's just tough. It is. We should go 7 for 8 in the first quarter. Shoot 1 for the rest of the game. That was on a defensive 3 second. That's tough. That's tough.
What did you think of Skylar's?
Sky did good. Scott did a good job. I thought he controlled the game. He controlled the tempo. He got guys shots. Really good game. I mean, only one turnover, 12 assists. That's big time.
The free throw disparity, do you think that was them being more aggressive inside or maybe not getting some calls?
I think both teams were aggressive, to be honest with you. It's one of the things we do. We attack the paint, all the time. So I got nothing to say or anything about their aggressiveness, but I know we were aggressive too.
Whenever you play a team, an opponent, they're missing their superstar, is that a missed opportunity?
I think anytime you got a close game in the fourth quarter, one possession game with a few minutes left, it doesn't matter who misses or makes the game. It's a missed opportunity.
Coach, quite a few new guys out there tonight, so it's good to talk about both. So, Duwop today, your thoughts on how he played, and same with Bouye.
Yeah, I thought Watt played a good game. He's a pick and pop five. So we'll use him that way. Most of the time, I drew up plays for him in the timeout to get the pops because I know they kind of play in a drop. And we did a good job of finding him. He fought like crazy. He had a block shot. I mean, he did well. He did well. He did what he does. And I thought Jamari came in and gave us some really good minutes in that first half. He really did. We were kind of struggling. He got the ball going. He got it moving side to side. He, made a shot. He did a good job too. His presence was felt out there.
Was someone like Davis tonight just an example of, a superstar just being able to do things that maybe your guys can't really answer for?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, AD is obviously, he's one of the best players in our game, and sometimes guys like that will get going and we kind of change defenses on him. We trapped him and doubled him some. I thought their penetration from their guards, it really hurt us a lot of times because he was able to get it to AD in the pocket but it was just, he was the best player on the floor and he played well.
Do you think that Duwop has a performance like that tonight if he doesn't get that confidence from the G League games?
I think he still could have played well, to be honest with you, Brooke, but obviously, playing that well a couple of nights ago is helpful. It's helpful, and everybody here has so much confidence in him. I wish we had him in a sack game. I wish I value him. I love how he plays. So none of us were surprised about how he played in that remix game. I've just been waiting to kind of have him up here with us.
Thank you.
All right, so there you have it. There from Chauncey Billups, and he's not too surprised with the performance from Reith tonight. Said, hey, probably would have had that even if he didn't have that performance down the G League. But man, that G League right now, that's what it's there for. And that's why you wanted one of these affiliates for the Blazers so bad. The ability just to send some of these guys down, bring them back up when you need them. I mean, the fact that you're like, okay, we're going to use Chris a little bit against the Kings one night, and then we're going to say, okay, go back down because we have, 3-4 days in between games, and there's a remix game that's going to give you a chance to go play, go get a little bit of run that you normally wouldn't get. I mean, he played tonight 3 minutes? Well, you're going to go play 30-plus if you go down there and play with the G League. And Reith went off, had an absolute monster of a game in that inaugural game against the South Bay Lakers. Earned him a quick call-up, and the Blazers might have to rely on him, considering that Robert Williams ain't going to be around for the rest of the year, and that was their backup center going into this thing, and Reith offers a lot of fun things that Robert Williams didn't. I mean, he may not be as pure athletic as a Robert Williams, because that's a big boy who could get up, and Robert Williams is why he gets so many block shots and such a good defender, but Reith gives you that ability to stretch the floor. I mean, he hits that three-pointer with ease, goes out there, gets rebounds. I mean, tonight, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, had a block in there as well, hit 3 three-pointers. The guy, he's taking advantage of the minutes, man. Taking advantage of the minutes. And I guess that's kind of the moral and the story of this team right now, right? Skylar Mays takes advantage of his minutes. He gets his 2-way contract, turned it to a full-scale deal. Then you got Duwop Reith, who does the exact same thing, tonight. Shaden Sharp gets thrust into the starting lineup due to some injuries, takes advantage, has been looking great, right? You got Jeremy Bouyea, who gets signed to a two-way deal today, thrown into LA, hasn't even practiced with the team. He gets out on the floor, gets minutes, and takes advantage of them. It's just, again, it's just kind of the mantra of the team right now. It's not next man up. It's just like every man up, because we're going to need you all at some point. All right. If you want to join in on the chat, do so. YouTube.com/Rip City Radio, or join on the phone lines, 503-248-0620. We know it is a quiet night. It's Sunday. Everyone's exhausted, had plenty of football over the weekend and Blazer talk. And we're going to have plenty of Blazers to talk about next week as well. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, it is time for What's the Scoot? And then we'll wrap a bow up on this one, get you ready for the Blazers' next game on Tuesday. Chris Burkhardt here with you on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the fifth quarter, and it is time for What's the Scoot? And there isn't too much to talk about right now. Ideally, we'd be talking about a great performance from the young Blazers rookie. But for those of you wondering, has there been any updates on his health? Yes, there has. He had an MRI on his ankle that did reveal that he is dealing with that bone bruise. And he's going to be out another 2 to 3 weeks. It is unfortunate, but in the long run, I think it's not terrible news, right? Because the terrible news would be if there was legit structural damage or anything else in there that was going to make him sit out for a long period of time and miss significant amounts of time. Granted, 2 to 3 weeks at this point is not insignificant. You want him on the court, absolutely, but the best case here is that there was any major structural damage. Is just that bruise. And if anyone out there listening has had a bone bruise, you know that they suck. Like, they hurt. The pain doesn't go away. It takes time to heal. Like I said in the pregame show, I've had bruised heels before, bruised ribs, which are the absolute worst. So yeah, the ankle, I totally get it, especially when there's so much tension and pressure going through the ankle, especially when you're Scoot Henderson and you play such an explosive game to begin with. You want to let that thing heal. Hopefully he gets back soon. That 3-week window puts him at what, December 1st-ish. Oh my goodness, guys. Why did I had to say that out loud? Like, we're that, like, yes, it's still technically the beginning of November here. It's only November 12th, but I mean, we're only, 3 weeks away about till December, and Christmas is right around the corner. Oh my goodness. I did walk into the office today and they're wasting no time. I mean, the the Christmas tree's up, right? It's up. So Han has a good question. Who's going to come back first, Ant or Scoot? Well, gosh, that's another tough one. That's another tough one because like Ant, I've also torn a ligament in my hand, in my pinky finger, and that one took months and months and months to heal properly. Um, that's mainly because it took me a while to get diagnosed, and I was stubborn and just couldn't stop using it. But that one sucks. Also, it's not as cool of a story. Like, I didn't hurt it playing basketball at an elite level. I hurt it, falling as I was trying to get into a giant chair because I'm a short man. So I struggle. But no, I think the answer to that one, though, truthfully, Han, all joking aside, at my expense, probably Scoot. I think the bone bruise is the easier one to come back from. I mean, there's again, similar to the ankle, just the way the hand moves when you're dribbling or shooting or any of that, you want to make sure that thing is fully healed all the way, because that's kind of that's your paintbrush, really. Like, if you don't have use of your hands and your fingertips, if you're a basketball player, then you just have bricks for hands, and that's not good if you're a guard, right? So you want to make sure that hand is absolutely ready to go, absolutely ready to go. That's a really good question, though, Han. I hope it's like both of them at the exact same time and everyone gets excited because everyone's back at full strength. I mean, that's the fun part, though. Han, you just kind of led me into something that I wasn't even planning on talking about. But that's the fun part of the situation right now, is that Robert Williams is out for the year, right? And a lot of people are anticipating seeing him. Malcolm Brogdon is out. No real true timetable, just dealing with that tight hammy, but he's out right now. You don't have Ant, who was kind of gifted the being the guy, right? The face, and him and Scoot together. You don't have him, and then you don't have Scoot, the guy that you traded Dame away to open up the spot for him. You don't have those core guys, and yet you're still having fun watching these basketball games right now because the way that these guys are playing, whether it's Skylar Mays, right, or Duop Reith tonight, and it's just, that's nice. That's nice. Because I feel like there's been a lot of times in the past where you get down because, okay, all of a sudden Dame's out, CJ's out, who else is out? And you're like, it's sky's falling, man. They aren't even playing fun basketball right now. Right now, they're playing fun basketball. So when you ask the question, who's going to come back first, it makes me think, man, when they do come back, if they can play that same brand of fun basketball that these young guys have started to develop, and that can be the identity, then this team, when healthy, might be a really fun team to watch. Again, I'm not saying world beaters, not saying playoffs or anything. I'm just saying a fun team to watch, which is about what you want when your team's rebuilding, because the last thing you want is piling on L's to get a better draft pick and just being miserable to watch in the process. Not right now. Not right now. He says it's the defense who's holding the team together, and that's true. Again, and that's why as much as people want to hate on the guy, you got to give Chauncey a little bit of credit, right? Because the defense this one's on him now. And I've been really eager to see this season play out because, again, for the first time, Chauncey actually gets to mold the clay. You know, he everything was already made for him when he got here. And he had these superstars that were who they were, and they weren't going to change. Now he gets to mold the clay. Did you notice Kamara and AD a few times, and he actually held his own? Yeah, I noticed a lot of Kamara, Han, because he's hard not to notice, man. He's playing so well on that end, and he is a huge body. I said this in the pregame show, how I've talked to Chad a few times, Han, where I'm like, whoa. There's guys out there on the floor right now that are like taller than 6'3", 6'4". This is amazing. Like, what do the Blazers have size? And Kamara is great because what Kamara does is Kamara plays defense, and that's the hardest thing in the league to teach. Because I don't need to go into the big thing about it, but like I said pregame, you can walk into a gym and grab a basketball by yourself. You can work on your shot all day long. Can't walk into a gym by yourself, no one in there, and work on your defense. You can't. You either have it or you don't. And if you have it, then you can make it better. And right now, I think Kamara has it. All right, I think that's going to do it for us because we got to go get some rest. Rip City drives tomorrow. Plenty of football to talk about. And, of course, your Portland Trailblazers will be back in action on Tuesday night against the Utah Jazz. Make sure you guys set an alarm for that one. Utah, a little bit of a time difference. Tip off at 6 o'clock. Instead of 7, that means pregame show with Chad and I. Game day will actually start at 3 o'clock. We'll give you an extra half hour of fun. 2 hours of pregame and get you ready for Blazers Jazz. To everyone in the YouTube chat, to everyone who called in, thank you so much. Justin Myers has you covered tomorrow morning, 6 to 9. Rip City Drive from 3 to 6. I'll be back with Courtside Monday tomorrow from 6 to 6:30. And then, of course, like I said, Blazers Game Day gets you ready for the Jazz and Blazers, 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Until then, good night, everybody.